Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing amazing. We have an amazing episode today with a really dear guest here, Herman. You're going to see him in just a moment. What we're going to go through is something that will affect all of you, if it's not affected you already. Across corporate America, a new divide is emerging. It's not based on talent, seniority, or even performance. It's based on whether employees are willing to embrace AI. So, if you're into AI, if you believe that AI is actually going to take over your job or that it can impact you in some way, stay tuned. For years, white collar professionals worried that AI might replace them someday. Today, people are losing jobs not because AI is replacing their role, but because companies believe they aren't learning the technology fast enough. Ask yourself if this is actually impacting you. If you're feeling that you're going through this yourself, are you actually learning AI fast enough? And what can you do about this? We're going to get into this. Employers are pushing staff to use tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and in-house AI platforms. Some companies are investing in classes and support desks. Others are simply expecting employees to figure it out on their own. And those who don't, and that's where it gets really tricky, they're being marked down in reviews, performance reviews, removed from hiring processes, or quietly pushed out. Some workers are thriving and inventing ways to save time and make money with AI. Others are overwhelmed and unsure how to apply the tools in real work. The result is a growing gap, one that's influencing promotions, layoffs, and team restructuring. So, today, this topic is about AI at work. Adapt or get left behind. So, as I was mentioning, I have a dear guest. His name is Herman, and he's been in technology for a long time, and he's going to share his experience as to how he's been able to navigate his career and how you can adopt AI to be able to continue to progress in yours. Okay, so let me welcome Herman. Herman, how are you? Great to see you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of
That's
course,
amazing.
of course, absolutely happy to have you here. And let's give people a little bit of context or background as to what you've accomplished over the years, who you are, and how they can benefit from your presence here today.
Thank you so much. So basically, I started with technology in 1995, so a long time ago. And at that point, I fall in love with Lotus 123, that I was able to do spread macros. And that was for me like, wow, this is amazing. So that was my start when I fall in love with technology. Since then, I have been able to move through different positions during this probably 30 years of experience doing in the tech industry. And basically, one of the common situations I always face is a threat of new technology. And I guess this time is not indifferent. And in a bigger scale, for sure, is undeniable that AI is taking in any industry and is rapidly taking very um, rapport. Is the right now companies demanding, that people in technology embrace AI. But it's nothing different that when we was able to do asynchronous requests, Ajax thing, when they come out, and jQuery, and we evolved to JavaScript frameworks, and the object oriented with Java. Any of those technologies at the end, at some point, that was a threat that you have to adopt. You adopt that or you get fired. But we are here today working in some companies, so that means we have adapt to many changes during these years. So if we take that experience um, to apply in AI, what the mean today is the meaning is you have to take over AI. You need to learn AI. You need to learn the tools that are required to make your job quicker and better. So That's the point today, to keep to keep alive in the tech industry. But at some point soon enough, I think many professionals are going to be having those skills. And when you have those skills, what is going to be your differentiator? Thinking like probably in 6 months from now or less, many people is going to adapt with this way that AI is overwhelming of tools. I think soon enough, everybody's going to embrace AI and everybody's going to be using AI in some way. If you don't embrace AI, you're going to be behind. You're going to be in the list of, these guys is probably, it's a candidate for to fire.
Hmm.
Basically, that's how I see the AI impacting jobs.
Yeah,
But at the end, we have been able to evolve. So at some point, AI is going to be no longer a differentiator.
absolutely. So, one of the things that I was sharing earlier this week and last week as well, Facebook, for example, or Meta, they are actually, as part of the performance review, they are analyzing, they are assessing whether you're actually embracing AI in your day to day. How much AI, how you're moving the needle. So the question that you need to ask yourself as a professional in technology is, how much AI are you using, and what is it contributing to move the needle? Are you are you are you faster in the way that you are deploying code? Are you faster in the way that you are developing? Are you generating more revenue, more profits, saving time, increasing quality? What are you doing? How are you embracing AI tools, AI in general, but AI tools to be able to do your job better and to be able to make a bigger difference, right? So the Wall Street Journal just posted about this as well and saying this is not just Meta. A bunch of organizations, large organizations, are doing this, and guess what's going to happen? This is going to cascade down to other organizations, smaller organizations, who will start to basically expect the same from their employees. So what can you do? So in your case, Herman, how did you manage to survive when you were, throughout your career? How do you manage to keep on moving up, on getting your way with all these changes? What did you do? Give me the day to day. What did you do on a day to day basis to be able to adopt these new technologies as they were emerging over the years?
Yeah, for sure. Every time a new technology was in the market, I used to research about that technology, and at the end, I'm gonna take the decision to embrace that technology. I start going to my work during the day, and self learning, and at the nights, after work, taking hours to invest in learning this new thing, taking courses from experts, you know, to know how that this technology works. And basically, soon enough, I just start talking about those improvements that we can have if we embrace new technologies at work. So people said, "Oh, okay, Herman is up to date, right?" I was saying we can do this. We can replace this part of the in the architecture of the software. We can replace this for this new technology, and yeah, we start having discussions around. But I still learning at that point. I didn't know everything. I just take the time to research and start understand how that works and bring it to work and start the conversation around how we can evolve using new technologies. That was basically that keep me busy always with in any of the companies I work for.
Okay, so now to bring it to today, for those of you working and wondering whether this is going to impact you, ask yourself how much AI you have embraced and how you're adopting it, and how much you are able to move the needle, really, to make a real difference in your day to day, and how in tune you are with what's out there, what's available. Are you exploring? Do you have a curious mind? Are you leveraging all these technologies and these applications to be able to perform better, to give more value? At the end of the day, what do employers want? They want to hire someone who gives the most value for what they are paying, right? This
and
is a business. Yeah, go ahead.
and you don't have to, employers has to evolve too.
Yeah,
They are not like against us. They have to evolve because if they don't, they die, and we are not going to have jobs. So they are trying to do the best to keep up with the technology, right? So that's the reason why they start demanding you have to have these skills. You have to do, you have to bring AI to our company. Is basically that.
yeah. So part of your day, I don't know, like each one of you here watching this or the replay later, um, you know how much time you have available. But I can tell you that, so I've been in technology for almost 30 years, okay? And in the workforce for, let's say, 22 years. Um, as a full stack software engineer, as a business analyst, as a product owner. The reality is, I never worked 8 hours. Do any of us work actually 8 hours per day? No. Sometimes we're, like we're wasting some time. Only you know how many hours you're actually working. So the big question is, are you conscious about this? Are you spending time or investing time? It's more than spending, it's investing. Are you investing your time either throughout the day during your 8 hours or outside of those 8 hours if you're truly working the 8 hours, getting ahead of yourself, like advancing with technologies to be able to mark a differentiator, or are you not? Of course, it's easier to say, hey, I'm just going to just chill or play some games or scroll on social media, but then you're going to pay a price. Or alternatively, you can really stay up to date, stay current with what's happening in the world, with the technologies that are available to us, to be able to make a difference in the organization that we're there serving and our own careers. Because the reality is that the more you know AI and the more technology that you adopt, that that you feel comfortable with, the more resourceful you are, the more attractive you become to other employers as well. So the big question that you need to ask yourself as well is, should I stay here because it's safe? A lot of people rather stay stay with the employer that they know, or should I leave? Well, I don't know if Herman, you watched just a couple of days ago, we had Daniel here, right? You were
Yeah.
mentioning to me just a moment ago. So
Mhm.
Daniel used to work at Google. And one day he woke up and he no longer had access. But not only he didn't have access to the systems, his boss didn't have access to the systems either. And why? Because they were both laid off. And not just them, 3,000 people were laid off back a few years ago. So are you safe staying there? Well, if you're the first one to go and you never saw it coming, well, I understand, never saw it coming. But if you see that other people are being laid off, certain conversations are happening around you, you know that your time is coming. Eventually, it's going to come. So what are you going to do about that? Are you starting to look to switch jobs to bring yourself to another organization that is doing better? Or you're just going to wait until the ship sinks, right? Any advice for this, Herman? What do you think?
Any advice is absolutely embrace AI. Is not going to be a differentiator soon enough. So soon enough, everybody's going to have this skill.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to be, mm, doing, doing always improving, the continuous improvement. But at the end, it's not going to be longer. Soon enough, it's not going to be longer a differentiator. AI. So if we think actually deeper, what could be keep you like the first option for a company is not going to be longer AI soon enough. Like I think 6 months from now, because these layoffs are happening. It's not now. They are happening from 2 years to today, right? So we are in a process of transition to where now now companies are going to select the AI people, and
Mm-hmm.
now soon enough they are not going to be longer a differentiator. So what is going to be a good differentiator um, after AI is adopted? That's a good question.
Okay.
So, what is going to be? What I think is we have to be able to adapt to new jobs and roles quicker. Because if you don't have this skill to adapt, to move, right, you're
Mhm.
going to be sink in the same position forever. And
Mhm.
being in the same position forever was something that I never helped me. The longest period I worked for a company was 7 years. And for me, that was the 7 years of that I was stuck. And when I say the stock is because I given the life to this company, and I never get recognized financially for the job that I put. I never get recognized my loyalty that was never recognized. I left in a day that I left before they fire me. But why? Because I knew that was a lot for me. I said, how 7 years in this company? Right, but at that moment when I realized I have to move, I decide to move. So the skill piece uh, the skill that are going to allow you to continue being developing your career is to switch jobs, is to change quicker, is to change and adapt to a new job. Because companies at the end, they don't care about you. This is to be honest. Many companies, we try as a companies to become to build a culture around our people, but not really individually. They know what is going on in our minds.
Mhm.
Nobody knows. For 7 years, I guess the first 3 years for me was very excited, but after the 3 years, 4 years was nothing to me there. Nothing. I learned the job. I know how to do it. That become basically a mechanic way to do my job. And after that, I say, okay, there's no any fulfillment here. I don't have anything. I don't feel anything about this company, right? I was like a die in that environment, and that was when I met you, Brian. That,
I was going to bring it up.
yeah,
How we
that
met.
was when I met you, Brian. That was when in that because I met Brian in the corporate after 7 years working for a company, and he joined in the team as a product owner, and I was a software engineer for the team, and I met Brian, and that was when I realized, I need to move. I cannot stay here, and that was when my race, when my next step was a good chunk of money that I get into, and it's not only about money, it's fulfillment. It's a new stuff again, like you're gonna learn something new, and it's excited again. But if you stay in the same position, it's 3 years in the maximum, and you're no longer excited, and that
Yeah.
happened. That's a good sign to say I need to move.
Especially if there's no recognition, right? So let me paint a clear picture for everyone watching. How often should anyone move? So from the first year, from the moment that you get hired, all the way throughout the first year, you're learning the new code base, you're trying to understand the processes, the software, build relationships and whatnot, right? So you are adapting to the new environment. After the first year, I mean, if you can do it faster, amazing. But they give you that 1 year, okay? You need to be adding value, but they're patient with you. After the first year, you really need to be performing. You need to really be pulling your weight. And now on the third year, they better promote you because you've already demonstrated the value that you can bring to that organization. Now, if they are not promoting you in that third year, and there are no signs that they're going to promote you, like I was chatting with someone that I will be mentoring next week. Um, he's been at the same organization for 3 years. He's been looking to switch jobs for the last 7 months, but he's known since early on. He saw it. He noticed it early on that this was a bad move for him. But if you haven't noticed what's happening with you, if you are in the same organization for more than 2 years and your promotion is not happening, as long as you want to get promoted, of course, right? If you want to continue to advance in your career and it's not happening, and there's no recognition and there's no increase in pay, and in fact you're actually working harder, what's the solution? To just accept that this is reality, or switch jobs? Unfortunately, Herman, this guy over here, he waited too long to switch jobs. He
Right.
stayed at the same organization for 7 years, and he was being underappreciated. They were not investing in his development. He was taking it upon himself to develop himself professionally, but they were not investing in him. It was a toxic environment, to be honest. I worked there, so I can tell you what this looked like. We can get into more details in a moment, but it was not a good environment. People throwing each other under the bus. It was toxic. What else?
No, but I want to add something. The reason why I stayed too long, and this is probably the way to say that I love what I do, is because for myself, what I was doing is so beautiful. So I was living in my own universe, but not in the universe of the company. But
Mhm.
sometimes you need to take, as developers, as engineers, sometimes we are very, very focused on something. Or this is the way I'm wired. I'm wired as a focused person. I for me a day is like this, go like this because I'm doing what I love. But I'm doing the same thing every single day. But is that really a fulfillment just to do what you love, or probably a good fulfillment could be something, learn something new that for me was more excited. That's the reason I think is more excited the two first years in any company than
Mhm.
any other years. But at the end, you love what you do. And for me, that was like, oh, I love this. I love to do this, but no challenges. Just because I know I love how I do it, and I
Yeah,
feel good making work, and say, oh, okay, I'll make this work. That's this. It's like it's my payoff. It's my payback myself, but
yeah,
nothing really at the level of my career, only at the personal level, but not at the actually that I can, I can change my life. Nothing that can change my life, right?
yeah,
No, like a more time with my family. I worked this entire year to have a vacations for 2 weeks, right? So you taking my life, you give me money to I able to just go on vacation with my family for 2 weeks of how many weeks I have a year.
yeah,
So I guess it's not fair at all. At all for me, that was not, and that was when I said, I need to move to something else, had more freedom, and always looking for more than a job.
yeah. But
Mhm.
you know what? Typically, the senior professionals that I like to attract, that we've been able to to help, to guide, to help them switch jobs with their desired job conditions, they typically have maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks of vacation. We're helping someone right now. He has unlimited. I don't like the unlimited concept because then it's not truly unlimited. Unlimited is unlimited. So give me a number and then I know exactly how much PTO, how much time off I get, right? Um, but there are other conditions that we're looking for in the people that we like to guide. And with Daniel, a couple of days ago, he was actually surprised that I didn't share openly, publicly, the fact that he was making $120,000 and that his highest job offer was $483,000. Again, you heard that right. He was making $120,000 and then he got a job offer for $483,000. And why didn't I share that? First of all, because that's not the offer that he accepted. He accepted a job offer for $238,000. So almost double. Okay. 120 to 238,000. That was the job offer that he accepted. Why? Because money, to Daniel, to Herman, to myself, and to many others, more than 1,000 other senior professionals, especially in tech, that we have been able to guide, money is not all. There's so much more to it, right? So Daniel wanted work-life balance. He was about to get married. I actually happened to travel to his wedding at the end of August. It was an amazing experience in Chicago. And he wanted work-life balance. I mean, if you're going to get married to someone and then you want to raise a family, why? I mean, you want time to dedicate to build that family, to raise that family, right? So work-life balance was incredibly important to him. And through one of these 5 job offers that he received, 4 of them in the same week, he learned that his boss at one of these other companies was working 65 to 70 hours per week. And he was like, I don't want to work 65 to 70 hours. I don't want to work 55 or 60. I don't want to work past 40 hours. Okay. I want to give them my all, maybe 37.5 hours, give them my all, and then that's it. That's my professional time.
Mhm.
My personal time is mine. That was one of the criteria. The other criteria, and by the way, he's not allowed to work overtime at this new organization that he's joined. Okay. He's actually asked, can I work overtime? And they were like, no, you cannot work overtime. Like, we don't want to set a precedent that now our people are working overtime. Okay, that was one. The second one was that he wanted to find fulfillment in the work that he does. He wanted to make this world a better place. So when he had 5 job offers on the table, this one was the one that brought him the most fulfillment. And then the last one, the last criteria was that he wanted to find a fully remote job. I mean, we work in technology. Why do we need to go to the office? I mean, if you want to go to an office, that's fine. That's your choice. And you will have more choices. You will have the remote ones, the hybrid ones, the in-office ones. But if you want to work remote because you like to focus better, because you have more flexibility, you name it, for whatever reason you have, you want to work next to your wife, to your spouse, to your husband, to your children, maybe, and you're able to do your job, you're able to deliver a great amount of value. Why waste an hour and a half each way every single day? For what? You're delivering the same amount of value doing it from home. So a lot of people like to work from home. I've been working from home since March 2020. I haven't been back to an office. So these were the criteria. And of course, he chose the job that matched that criteria. Could he have gone with a $483,000 offer? Yes. But here's one thing, and I don't want you to make this mistake. That job offer that he got for $483,000 was half pay and half equity. But it's not a publicly traded company. So this equity really meant nothing. Sometimes you work for an organization and they trick you. These are the tricks that they do to you. They trick you. They give you all these incentives and stuff, but will they actually materialize? So you may end up working for an organization for a year or 2 or 3 or 10, and then you decide to walk out because that did never translated into any actual financial benefits to you and your family. And then you lose all that investment of time and sacrifice that you put into this, thinking that it will materialize at some point. So don't fall for any employer's tricks. Okay, Herman?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, you cannot trade, you know, I'm going to go a little back to some concept. We have been taught that money is time is money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is not. Why? Because you cannot replenish, your time. Money you can. The bank could be empty and tomorrow could be full, but the time is not. The second is gone.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So why what I'm giving to is no longer about that I exchange money for time, because my time is more precious than the money, right? And if we think deeper in this, is how much is your time?
Mm-hmm.
How much you are when you replace, or when you use time that you should be with your family, and you replace that time to work. you know how much is that time that you trade for, even if they pay you over time? I'm assuming that they are paying you over time. How much is worth it? This is a good question to ask, right? We should have control to take our life for us, for whatever we want to do
Yeah.
with our time. It's enough to sell most of the time, but it's not fair to spend the remaining time doing the same, working. I don't think nobody deserves that. I think already take 40 hours is a lot for a
Yeah.
week, right? So yeah, because there's not too many hours left after 8 hours of
So
work.
ask yourself, for everyone here watching, and I appreciate that you're watching and participating here, and Charles and Chase and Hannah and Chica, thank you for joining, and for everybody else joining, whether silently or commenting in the comments. Ask yourself whether your employer is giving you the conditions, the job conditions that you deserve, that you want, for the life that you want to live, right? Like whenever, let's say that you have children, are you able to actually be there, be present for them in the morning when they're having breakfast? Are you able to wake them up? Are you able to make breakfast and lunch for them, or you're leaving your home too early and you don't get to spend any quality time with them? Are you able to pick them up from school, like I do, by the way, or Herman does, right? Are you able to be there for them? Take them to school, pick them up from school, take them to the doctor whenever, God forbid, they get sick. Are you able to help them with their homework? If that's important to you, if that's the type of family that you have, are you able to spend time, personal time for yourself, right? Doing activities, sports, whatever it is that is important to you, your hobbies, or you're constantly working overtime. I was meeting with someone yesterday who was telling me he has a child with autism. Okay. And this is not Maria. Maria is someone else that we helped in the past, a beautiful human being. And she also has a child, Lucas, with autism. I love Maria and her family. And this gentleman, he was telling me that when he goes to sleep, he doesn't sleep. Like he's worried. He's worried about the role that he has. He's worried about the market. He's worried about his employer. He's constantly worried, and he's not making the money that he should be making for the value that he brings to the table. So when his child grows, will they have the financial means to be able to support him in his studies and to continue to progress in life? At this very moment, he doesn't have the financial capabilities of being able to make a difference in his child's future. So most people, unfortunately, what I see is that they are thinking about the present time. They're not planning for the future. And then eventually you stumble upon that future and you're like, oh, I'm not in a good place. Well, you saw that coming like years ago, but you didn't plan for it. You didn't do anything about that. So ask yourself what type of job conditions you want. In my case, I didn't want to travel to the office an hour and a half each way anymore and waste time. I'd rather spend those 3 hours with my family or for myself, right? So I used to work at a large bank, Scotiabank. When I was asked to come back to the office, I said, no, thanks a lot, but I'm not coming back to the office. And my manager, my boss, I love her. She's like, what do you mean you're not coming back to the office? I was like, I'm not coming back to the office. Either you take me the way that I am right now, because while the pandemic was happening, we all adapted to your needs, right? We all served you from home. But now you need us to come back to the office. I was like, I built a life like this. I prioritize my family so much more than the bank. And she was like, okay, stay at home. But why was I able to push back on them? Because I knew how to switch jobs with my desired job conditions. Now, if you fear for your job, if you fear for your food, the food of your family, your roof, right, your mortgage, your rent, and you think, oh, if I say anything about this, then I might lose my job and not find another one, then I will just adapt to whatever crazy, demands employers have. But if you know how to switch jobs, I'm not coming back to the office. I know how to switch jobs. I will just switch jobs. You can switch jobs in less than 30 days. I was just talking to one of our dear clients, Omar. He hasn't even started applying for jobs. All we did was just change his resume, his LinkedIn profile, and they're all coming to him. He told me just a moment ago, I just rejected a job offer for close to $200,000. He's like, I have another 4 or 5 on the go. So I'm not concerned about this. I will find the one that I want. That is the power. That's called the ultimate position of power. Again, the ultimate position of power. You happen to be employed. You are blessed. Now have multiple job offers to be able to choose from, to be able to leverage so that you can negotiate and obtain your desired job conditions. Which brings me to, Herman, what we've been working on for the last 8 months.
Oh, yeah.
This 5-day event, 1 hour each day, next week. This is the one, by the way, if you want to go check it out. Where basically,
to learn how to switch jobs, you have to have clarity on the strategy, because it's not just, oh, I'm going to switch jobs and go and quit, and you don't know, you don't have the skill.
Please don't quit.
You have the skill, you have the peace of mind that you are able to do it. And, and this is a process that we have improved with, more than 1,000 professionals already. So we are not testing with you. This is the thing. So if you learn this thing is better to learn. It's better than learning AI, for sure, because you are able to put your boundaries and say this is the non-negotiable thing.
Yeah.
And like Brian said, I'm not gonna go back to office.
No, twice. She asked me twice to come back to the office. And I love her. And we have an amazing relationship. We're still friends. We chat. We talk on the phone. I spoke to her husband. We have an amazing relationship. But when she was crossing into my personal boundaries, I said, I'm not coming back to the office. Yeah, no, thanks, but no. Like, I rather spend my 3 hours commute each way per day. I mean, 3 hours doesn't sound like a lot, but when you multiply it times 220 days or 200 days per year, that's a lot of hours.
It is.
So, and those hours, what do? Spend them for yourself, spend them with your family, invest them in yourself, build something on the side, do whatever you want. But those are your hours. For us, people in technology, we can work remote. So you choose. These are your desired job conditions. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we put this together, this event. We only are allowing 100 people to join because we want to make sure. You may have seen how many people are actually following me on LinkedIn. So there are a ton of people. I just want to make sure that everybody has an amazing experience. So go check if there's any spot left. If it is still up, it means that there's still room for you. Go on switchjobsnow.com, check out, read, see if you can actually benefit from this, and understand that to be able to switch jobs, a resume alone is not enough. A LinkedIn profile alone is not enough. Knowing how to apply alone is not enough. There's a lot more to it. There's the interviewing, how you interview, how you stand out, how you negotiate, how you obtain your desired job conditions. It is a lot more complex. It's not rocket science by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. It's not rocket science. But if you've never spent the time figuring all these pieces out, these pieces of the puzzle, it might be the reason why it's taken you so long to actually switch jobs and why you've been putting up with your employer with undesirable job conditions. Yeah, go ahead, Herman.
No, that traditional way is, you people said you have to craft your resume based on the job conditions and the job descriptions.
Yeah.
And you basically go to the job description, they said, okay, what is how this word I have to be included in my resume? You do all the thing, and you have one resume for each job description, right? But technology,
No, please don't. Don't do that anymore. Yes. And
yeah,
technology, yes, go ahead.
with technology, you can, you can know the desires of the entire market. You need to think in the resume like a piece of marketing.
Yeah.
That is going to help, it's going to help you open the door.
Yeah.
So the resume is a piece of marketing that has to be, the hiring software has to be the hiring software, be able to go through the hiring software. And if we as a engineer, as a software developers or engineers or whatever, we are able to understand how technology works. So
Right.
if we know how, just do what technology understand, make the resume talk the language of the technology is being written by, that is the high-end software, and make it rank as higher as possible, right? And this is all the things that we're going to be including in this challenge. This is
Yeah.
a different approach. It's not, don't even read job descriptions before apply. We
Right.
teach a bunch of stuff that is based on more in how technology works in that area, and the other part that is super, the expertise of Brian is how to. Brian is a good building relationships. He's very good in the soft skills. So that's the part that is critical too, to be able to, after the interview, people love you, and he said, and whatever, this guy is the best guy I have interviewed. I never make an interview like this, but this is Brian. This is what Brian know how to do it, right, Brian?
Yeah. So a
And
couple of
it's
things
a
that I
mix
want
of
to
everything,
share.
and we put that in this event for
Yeah.
5 days. We're going to teach the strategy,
Yeah.
how we have enabled more than 1,000 professionals to switch jobs whenever they want, with the
Yeah.
condition, whatever condition they want.
Yeah.
This
So
is
this is what I want to share. If Herman allows me to talk, this is what I will share. So, um, what Herman was mentioning with regards to understanding technology. I mean, we are all in technology. We should all be in technology. It's 2025, almost 2026. We should all understand technology. There's no reason why we shouldn't. But I've seen a lot of software out there that what they do is they help tailor your resume for every single job description. And that is like, Herman always tells me, that is like killing an ant with a bazooka. You do not need to do that. You do not need to pay this software. It doesn't matter how much they cost. It's just unnecessary. Why? Because the problem stems from a different place. Herman mentioned this just briefly a moment ago. You need to have clarity. What it is that you're looking for, which is the role. Just because I've been a full stack software developer, a business analyst, and a product owner, and sometimes a scrum master as well in technology, it doesn't mean that I should be applying to all kinds of different jobs, right? Like, I mean, there has to be one role, one of all those four roles that I really love the most, that brings me the most happiness, joy, excitement, fulfillment, and financial wealth. Okay. Which one is it? Is it full stack software development? Is it business analysis? Is it product ownership? Is it being a scrum master? Which one is it? Now, once I understand which role that is, now I can craft a single version of my resume for the role itself. But first, in order to do that, you need to have that clarity, and then you need to understand what the market is looking for. All
Mhm.
this we explain because none of our mentees, none of our clients have actually applied with more than one resume for any given job. They all apply with a single resume that speaks the language that employers are looking for. This, you've been watching this for quite some time, or maybe you just joined a moment ago, but you are still choosing to be here. What I want you to understand is that this is communication one on one. When I speak to you, if I want you to stay here, I need to be communicating value to you. So I need to understand what it is that is valuable to you for you to want to choose to remain here, as long as you have the time, of course, right? And you have nothing conflicting with your time at this moment, your attention at this moment. But in the case of employers, they only have 6, 7 seconds on average. They will spend 6 or 7 seconds on average to decide whether they want to continue reading your resume. You're not there to explain anything. So you have to go straight to the point and you have to tell them exactly what they're looking for. If they read, they spend 6, 7 seconds and they're like, it's not it. They just move on. And most importantly, and again, it's just way more complex than what I'm describing right now, but just because you applied for a job, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to read your resume. Why? For multiple reasons that Herman was just explaining a moment ago. First of all, if your resume is not compliant with the hiring software, and there are more than 200 out there, if it is not compliant, then it's not going to go through the filters. No employer is going to see it. And if your resume doesn't have all the keywords that the hiring software is expecting when it matches or tries to match your resume against the job description, you're not going to be ranked high. You're not going to move to the top, so no one is going to see you either. And if you're not applying quickly enough, you're not going to be seen either. As you can see, the more we speak about this, the more complex it becomes. So unless you have a full understanding of the entire puzzle, the entire system, and the entire strategy behind it on how to land the interviews, again, if you go back to my last 2 interviews, Daniel landed 48 interviews in 24 days with 16 companies. Dylan landed 25 interviews in a single week, 7 or 8 interviews in a single day. Some of you might be watching and be like, 7 or 8 interviews in a single day? I couldn't even land 7 or 8 interviews in an entire year. Is it possible? Yes, I can show you. If you want to reach out, you want to tell me, or you can go to switchjobsnow.com and just follow and learn the entire strategy. But feel free to watch these other 2 interviews and you will see. If you have the right resume, if you have the right LinkedIn profile, I mean, it's critical that you have the right LinkedIn profile also. So you need both. And you have the right strategy on how to apply for jobs efficiently, effectively, and strategically, you will be able to land the interviews. But that's not enough because you still need to be able to differentiate yourself from everyone else who is interviewing. And you don't want to just receive a job offer. You want to stand out so much that they completely forget about anybody else. They don't even exist. What does that do? First of all, you are their only option. You want to be their only option. And second, when you position yourself, when you put yourself in that light, you can negotiate terms, conditions that are outside what they were thinking about. This is how John went from, for example, he was interviewing for a job that was paying between 100 to 140,000 bucks, but he walked away with 275,000 bucks plus $800,000 in stock options in a company that he mentioned in 3 years' time is going to be worth about 10 million bucks, these stock options. So how do you do that? By standing out. At the end of the day, you want to stand out, receive multiple job offers in a short time frame. Okay. And then you have leverage. That leverage, you use it to be able to negotiate and obtain your desired job conditions. Anyway, I explained all this over here. Yeah. Herman, anything else that you want to add?
No? Any
No?
questions? No.
Amazing. So I want to just give a shout out here to Chica. I'm glad to be tuning in for this. I appreciate it. Let's see, Karen. Great discussion. We personally think about it's so interesting to hear it spoken about out loud. Makes so much more sense. Thank you. You guys are so kind. I appreciate it a lot. Jorge, joining late but enjoying the topic. I appreciate it a lot. And Martin, this is amazing. Thank you all. For, sorry, it's a bit far. Thank you for all your sharing, Brian. I appreciate it so much. And Herman, amazing guy. Thank you, Herman, for joining me. And I appreciate you. I appreciate the guidance that you've provided me as well over the years to be able to make a positive impact in more than 1,000 people's careers and lives. This gentleman right next to me, he has done more for me than I don't like to compare, but he has changed my life as well. And through his guidance and leadership and commitment to making a positive impact in other people's lives, I've been able to unlock my full potential. So I believe in mentorship. For many, many years, for 17 years of my life, I had the wrong mindset, the wrong outlook, the wrong view. I thought that I could do it all. Not in an arrogant type of way, but I was like, oh, I can figure it out. Yes, the truth is we can figure out anything that we set our minds to. And now with ChatGPT and Gemini and so on, of course, it's easier. But there's nothing like having someone who believes in you, someone who guides you, someone who shows you the light, someone who tells you this is the path. I've already walked down this path. Excuse me. And who tells you, no, that's not a good decision. Stick to the path. This is the recipe. This is what works. Look at these other 1,000 other people. That's what we're explaining over here. Hey, you're not our guinea pig. We're not playing with this just to see what happens. This continues to work today. 3-5 years down the road, I'm not sure if what's working today will continue to work. But as we continue to make a positive impact in other people's lives, and we're so involved in their processes, we continue to see what's happening with the market, what's working, what's not working, and then we leverage that to share it with everyone else. So, yeah. Herman.
We are close to the end of the year, right? And many people think that is gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you think different, if you think it's not gone, it's the beginning already. It's already start 2026 today. If you think this way, what are you gonna do the first day of 2026? Are you gonna wait for New Year's Eve to say I'm gonna change or switch my job, or you can act now and say I'm gonna do it right now. Why? Because the best advantage you can have is when you are employed. That's why we call it the ultimate position of power. Why? Because you can go and risk and ask for more conditions without any risk because you have your job. No problem. Leverage your job, leverage your current employer. That, first of all, you are gonna look more attractive because you're an employer. Always we want the thing that other company has or the.
And by the way, sorry, hold that thought for a second, Herman.
Okay.
Employers are transparent about this. They share this. We much rather hire someone who is employed than someone who's not.
There you go.
Most employers, they tell you openly. Why? Because exactly what Herman just explained. This is human psychology. We want what we cannot have. Why is the Birkin bag that is like $70,000 so expensive? Is it because of the materials? No, it's because so many people want it that, of course, they can elevate the price. So when you happen to be employed, and the same thing with Ferraris and the same thing with Rolls-Royce and so on, when you happen to be employed, you're more desirable. Employers assume, and in many cases wrong, okay? But they assume, this person is employed, so he or she must be really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else has it. So employers want to poach someone. They want, I feel like I want something because I took it away from someone else, as opposed to just, this person was unemployed. So it's significantly easier to help professionals who are employed to switch jobs than those who are unemployed. Now, for those who are unemployed, don't get me wrong. I don't want to bring you down. I don't want to instill any fear in you. You will be back on your feet. But it takes a lot more work for you to be able to get back on your feet than for someone who is employed under the same conditions, okay? Someone who is unemployed is playing with a handicap. If you've ever played golf or you've watched golf, it's like the hole is over there, But you, being unemployed, you're over there. Now, for you here watching, you're employed. You have an advantage. You're much closer to the hole. So leverage that advantage. Go on, Herman. You were saying something.
No, that's it.
That's
Probably
it.
I forget what I want to say.
I said, hold your thought for a moment, just for a moment.
I
Write it
get
down.
into your conversation and I forgot what.
Is there anything else that might be valuable to them? I don't know. My recommendation is go check this out. Like I promise you, your mind will be blown away. Like you will be like, oh my god, this is insane. I know that we know that next week is Thanksgiving week for a lot of parents and families and so on. But if you can carve out 1 hour per day, and even if there's a night that you cannot, but ideally if you can, 1 hour per day after work, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's 1 hour where you understand at the end of this, you will have a strategy on how to switch jobs from the ultimate position of power. You will be like, oh my God. I want to say one last thing. A lot of professionals assume that at the end of the year, no one is hiring. First of all, you need to make that decision that you want to actually switch jobs. Okay. But it's not as easy as, oh, I want to switch jobs, so it's going to happen. No, you need to have the strategy. But the second thing that I want to share is we've seen it time and again every year that our mentees, our clients, they do switch jobs in December as well, including, I will give a shout out to Nicole, first of all, amazing, love her. She switched jobs on December 31st at 4 p.m. That's when she received the job offer. And if you're thinking, what do you mean December 31st at 4 p.m.? Who's working on December 31st at 4 p.m.? There are people who are making those decisions. They need to hire. They have done absolutely everything that they need to do. And they have decided that that's the person that they want to hire because of the concept that Herman and I were explaining earlier. You need to show up differently. You need to show them that there's no one else like you out there. And that if they don't hire you, they're going to miss out big time. Basically, the way that we see the market is like everybody who's going to an interview, every candidate sounds like a robot. They behave like robots. They sound like robots. They communicate like robots. They're just robots. Everybody's the same. But if you are able to distance yourself from these robots, then the employer goes like, wait, I need to hire this person because if I don't, somebody else will, first of all. And if I don't, who knows when, again, I will be able to find someone like this particular person. I can find the robots any day of the week. They all sound the same. They behave the same. They communicate the same way. But this person is different. So when you are able to stand out this way, you accelerate their hiring process. So even on December 31st at 4 p.m., like Nicole did, Dakisha, there was someone else, Dakisha Smith, she got a job offer. And by the way, and this is one of the many reasons why you need someone to guide you. Dakisha Smith got a job offer. I remember it was a few years ago. So I can't remember if it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But she got a job offer on December 31st. And I remember vividly because I was getting ready to celebrate with my family. So I'm getting ready and I see this text message on WhatsApp from Dakisha saying, hey, Brian, I got the job offer, but it's fake. It's a scam. I think she said, it's a scam. I was like, what? I mean, why do you think it's a scam? And she was like, well, my cousin said so. I was like, who's your cousin to give any sort of guidance? Why don't you listen to your cousin instead of me then? I was like, can I see the job offer? And she says, of course, let me forward it to you. So she forwards me the job offer. Okay. And I was like, I can't see where this looks like a scam. Where is the scam happening in this job offer? She's like, well, there's a link there. I was like, there's a link to register on their portal so that you can submit some information so that they can actually start to pay you once you start working with them in the new year. I was like, and the URL goes to this was a company called Tata, TCS. It's by the way, it's the largest consulting services company in the world. Okay. So it's called Tata Consulting Services. And their website is called tcs.com. The link on the job offer said tcs.com. When you hovered that link, it took you to tcs.com/something, register something. Okay. I was like, it's a link to register on their portal. There's no scam here, as far as I can tell. Next thing you know, she's working with them. So leverage some proper guidance. I know that your cousin means well, your aunt means well, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma, they mean well, but they have no clue how to help you switch jobs. So This is like me trying to switch my, I don't know, refill my oil and go into my 5-year-old. Like, no, she means, well, I guess you do it this way. No, go to someone who actually knows. Watch this, read this in detail, see if it's for you, and we will see you next week. Okay? Herman, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, to be here.
I appreciate you so much. Love you.
Me
Ciao.
too.
Ciao, everyone.